Hey everyone, Honest Chewy here. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. And I'm just back really with another video really. I've made, the last video I did was the one about Thor, Love and Thunder. And we all know how I feel about that. Now I'm just going to elaborate here. It's by no means a bad movie. But it's definitely not what I wanted from Thor. You know, what it built up to be, it just did what it did in Endgame. I know I keep going back to that in every video, but it's so true what they're doing. It's wasted potential. There we go. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like I say, if you want to check that video out, watch my last video, you'll know what I'm on about. But let's get into this video. This topic is one I'm very excited to make, and I'm happy that it was actually an enjoyable film to watch, and it's Prey. Now, Prey is a new Predator movie. It was a Hulu original, released straight to Disney Plus, and I've got to say, I seen the trailer for it. I was skeptical because the trailer showed a few bits of it that I'm going to clarify in this video now. And by no means it's not going to be a spoiler. This is just going to be what I enjoyed about the movie and what I think's cool about it. And really, it might be a chat about the original Predators and stuff like that, like the Yautji, I think they're called. And just how much in the law this director has actually put this movie in. And he's done so right. So yeah, this movie is different from any other Predator movies. Way different from the last Predator movie. Don't expect guns. There's no guns in this. There's guns, but they're not. They're like pirate guns. You know, like the very 70s, 1970s era. And these guns, you know, you have to run and push it into reload, which is a scene in the movie. It shows it happen. And it obviously shows the Predator just stood there watching them reload it. And it's great. Like I say, that's not a spoiler. You see that in the trailer. Anyway, let's start from the beginning of this movie. Now, this is set in 1970s. It doesn't tell you straight away. It doesn't really tell you till the end what era it's set in, as far as I was aware, anyway. But it's definitely set in like a tribe area because it follows this tribe, and it's really good how it's done because these are all about honor and the hunt. And you know, there's a mountain lion on the loose at the beginning, and this is like, you know, it's ripped someone to shreds. In other words, now this is definitely upped its score game as well. Like, this is brutal. I think the only reason it's not a full on 18 is like on Disney it's 16 plus. Not full on 18 is because there's not that much swearing in it, if any. I don't quite recall. Now, you know, I'm a bit rusty because it has been a week since I watched it in this heat wave proper. But I'm sure there's no swearing in it as far as I know. She definitely doesn't call it an ugly, you know what. But it, like I say, it starts at the tribe area, and we know from the trailer it's the woman who's the main character, and she has this tribe makeup on, and she, you know, first thing you see, she gets kicked by someone. She gets kicked by the woman who's supposed to heal people, kicks her to wake her up. Anyway, she has a dog. And, I've got to say, right, the dog is the star of the movie, right? Put the Predator aside, the dog is the star of the movie, in my opinion. It's the cutest, useful companion she has in the movie. Like, it's proper cute as. It's proper good companion. It brings the sticks to help her track down. Because, like I say, I mentioned about this mountain lion, her brother. Her brother comes in to the room and says, we have to go and hunt down this mountain lion. And she insists on going, and obviously it's a lot of lads, and they're like, no, women, you know, stay home, cook and clean, that type of thing, and heal. You know, this, that, and her brother's kind of just like, no, if she wants to come along, she can come along, because obviously he knows he can protect her, especially from the mountain lion as well. You can see, you know, at first I was thinking, God, these are going to get ripped to shreds, but it builds up to, you know, they're tracking the mountain lion down, and it you can see the tracks, and she's noticing stuff. So by this point, like, they're going to hunt this mountain lion down. I've skipped a bit from the beginning here. They go after this mountain lion, and the Predator is already on Earth, and you see the ship. Oh yeah, you see she's I can't speak here. She sees the ship. That's a bit of a tongue twister, that. And she thinks it's a god, I forgot exactly what she calls it, but she thinks it's some bird god thing, some eagle god. Um, and obviously she runs back and tells everyone, which I find very believable, because it's like back then, something like that, they all would believe it as well, and they all kind of, just sort of shrug it off. Anyway, like I say, back to this mountain lion bit, and they're tracking down this mountain lion, and you can see that everything where the predator's been, because the predator's in that jungle, it's all new to the predator as well. I'll get into the predator bit in a minute. Like I say, I'll continue with this mountain lion bit. And anyway, they find the mountain lion, it attacks one of them anyway. She heals the guy who's been attacked. Then it goes to the fight, and it shows fighting the mountain lion, and I think she did unreal. It's not overdone either. It's done very good. It's done clever as well. Like she backs up, but she never puts her guard down, and that's the whole thing with the mountain lion. Like, goes to when obviously it falls on her and she has a spear, but it cuts, so we don't know. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Not to spoil it for anyone. Now to get into the main bit, the meat of the pie, as the saying goes, and it's about this Yautji predator, right? It's unreal, right? It's a young blood. Now I was speculating this throughout the whole trailer, what predator it's going to be. Is this going to be the very first predator? It's clear it's not the very first predator. This is not the first predator. That is busted in the movie. It is not the first predator, but it's definitely a young blood. It's definitely its first hunt, which is the main character in the movie. It's her first proper hunt, and it would be out of everything, heck, even the mountain lion would do. She's gone after a bear, right? I've got to say, that bear, my god. But either way, it's a predator. So yeah, this predator's training, it's collecting skulls of stuff like we're used to seeing it collecting human skulls and like alien skulls. Here, it's like going after stuff like it skins a snake to start with, because the snake bites it. It's invisible, and a rat obviously runs, it gets the rat, and it drips blood on the predator, and it drops the rat, and just like looking at where the blood's dripped, and like, I want that thing, not realising that it's just armoured. And I've got to say, one thing that's done really well in this movie is it shows just how powerful the predators are, and just how much of a brutal warriors they are, because it takes damage, a lot of damage, but it doesn't stop. Like, a lot of blood comes out of it, a lot of bites, a lot of scratches, like it's fighting. It fights a wolf, and the wolf, and it studies the wolf, and it fights the wolf at the beginning, and the wolf bites it, and you see green. It's still got the cloak on and stuff, and then it kills the wolf obviously quite easily, but it's still a fight, and it's getting used to all this stuff. And then obviously the main bit of the movie is the bear fight scene. I've got to go over here. The bear fight scene with the predator is unreal. It's not like the trailer where the trailer does it no justice, but sort of, I'm glad it did it the way it did with the trailer, because I went in expecting it to be her to be not as bright as she was, because I thought, why the heck would you fire an arrow at a bear? But in the movie why she does it, and it's one of the things I mentioned. I'm going to say it because it's not a mega spoiler, but it's the main thing why I was rooting for her. There's a little companion, the little fella, the little dog, blooming barks at the bear in it. Like, she obviously, they were both hunting the bear, her and the dog. She tracks down the bear, and it does the thing, because obviously bears have a high sense of smell. Dogs do, don't get me wrong. But the bear, like, there's a wind blows towards it, so it's all calm, it's all fine. She's watching it, it's got a scar across its face, it looks like, don't mess with this thing. But she's ready, take it down. She's got spears, she's just about to stealth attack in a way. And the wind blows, and a scent blows to the bear, and you just see it sniff the air, and it's just, it's unreal. So the dog, obviously being the companion he is, barks at the bear and distracts it, because otherwise she would have died. She would have died, and it ran off, got the bear away, and then sort of ran at the bear, and then sort of is running back at her barking, and then obviously the bear's following the dog, and I was so worried. So obviously she's a distance, and the dog's running, so you know why she fires that arrow at the bear. In the trailer it just shows her firing that arrow at a bear. This, it's because it saved the pooch, saved the dog. And safe to say the dog's clever, because she hits the dog with the arrow. She obviously gets chased by the bear. The dog keeps running off, doesn't come back to fight the bear. It runs, which is brilliant. must know that she's a main character. She's not going to die just yet. Although she was close to it. Bloody close to it at the beginning. This is just the beginning, by the way. Well, this is about an hour in, but I'm skipping a lot of stuff here. But like I say, this whole thing happens. And you see the predator fight the bear, and oh my god. You see it in the trailer anyway. Holds the bear above it, and it just drenches it in blood, and it looks so good. I'm a massive fan of this predator. Now, we know how it ends. But this is like, I'm not going to say how it ends just yet, actually. Scratch that. I'm going to mention what I liked about the movie was the brother. Whoever played his brother, the actor. Unreal actor. I mean, she was a fantastic actress. But he did really well. Like, he grew into a character you actually care about. And there's, certain scenes happen in the movie where you actually like, wow. He actually shows his potential of how much of a warrior he is. Like I'm going to say, what's coming. He actually gets a couple of hits on the Predator. And like I say, this Predator takes a beating in this movie. But it gets up and it keeps going. Like, it never really falls, if that makes sense. Like the bear fight scene. Oh, the bear was winning. The bear had this Predator. And the only reason the Predator really won is because it's clever enough to put its cloak on. Like I say, that bear was tearing it to bits. But I still feel like a one-on-one combat Predator, the Ouchie, as I'm going to call him now because I think that's a mint name, is going to win. But I've got to say, this is not as... You can class this as what I'm going to get into as the end now. So it's not going to be a spoiler, but it's going to be sort of what happens in every Predator movie. And that's how this ends. It's very much like the first one, where they get picked off one by one. And but it's not like the first one with the tech. Like, this is on even grounds. Because this is, the first one obviously it had guns, explosions, all this. This is very, actually, saying that, this is very different from the first, but very similar in its ways of how it plays out. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Because obviously this Predator doesn't have a plasma cannon. This has an arrow cannon thing, which I think is much better. It's like a magnet arrow, and it's so good. Because to do have plasma cannons, these had plasma cannons way before. Because this is set after the pirate one, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But first I'm going to get with the ending, and how I feel about the ending. So this could be a spoiler, but really, we know how it ends. I'm not going to say exactly what happens at the end, because I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who wants to actually see it unfold. But I know, you know she's going to live. That's all I'm going to say. She lives. And the Predator obviously bites the dust at the end. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say how, I'm not going to say what she does. But this Predator in particular, I wouldn't have been mad if it won. I wouldn't have felt robbed. I just would have been upset because I like her. And obviously that means Doggo would have to go. But there's a YouTuber who said that really how she killed the Predator at the end, which I won't say, is a bit underpowered it compared to all the damage it took before. Like, it got a bear, for instance. And she's no bear. No offence to the woman. She's clever, she's smart. And that's what makes us, top the food chain in a way on the movie. It shows just how good we are at adapting as a race, and why the Predators see us as, a dangerous game, as the saying goes. It just shows her adapting throughout the whole movie. So I buy the ending. But I do agree with a certain thing happens at the end that I really don't like. And it's a nitpick, but it's a bit of a bull moment. Now, this is a spoiler. I'll say it's a spoiler, just in case. So this is going to be spoiler territory now. So if you don't want it spoiled and you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this bit. Skip about 2 minutes. And I'll tell you about the pirate bit. Well, actually, I'm going to say about the pirate bit about 30 seconds. Right, so spoiler warning. The Predator is skilled in this movie, right? He rips these guys limb from limb. Yeah, literally, limb from limb. Fights all these hunters. And it's all new to it. He even looks at the guns when they go to reload it, like, what the heck are these things? And then obviously the fireman. But obviously it's used to it because it's got its arrows, it has to collect its arrows. So anyway, vice versa. Cut to the end. she's fighting it. Mono in mono, right? And it's whooping her ass, right? She's whooping its ass too. She gets good hits, right? And there's a moment where it uses its shield. It's like got a shield, like God of War. It's got one of them. And it pounds into a tree with it. And it jumps. No, scratch that. Jumps at her with the knives on the front, like the Wolverine knives, I'm going to call them. And this one has 3 of them. I think it does anyway. I wasn't counting. I was too busy looking at how badass it was with them. Anyway, it jumps and gets stuck, its arm stuck in a tree. So it uses the shield to attack her, right? Fair enough. Doesn't need the shield out though. Could just grab her. But for movie terms, this is the bit I was on about. Shield comes open. Goes to grab her. Its arm's there. Goes to grab her. She's like here. She dodges. Instead of hitting the tree, which is where it was going, it then cuts off its own arm. Like, cuts off its own arm. Right? Now, by no means does this kill a predator. By no means does this really immobilise a predator like it would do a human. But then not really, because when you look at the original Predator, when he gets his arm blown off, he still pulls the gun out. So vice versa, he's still got the shield. It happens that quick, you don't quite twig on it at the moment. But anyway, it's got one arm, and it's fighting her, and it's still just as good. But you can see, like, she's there. If it had both arms, she'd be dead. Because it has one arm. It underpowers the Predator. It's sort of, it does a bit what the first one does, toys with her a little bit, you know what I mean, like when it was just, there's so many times it could have just killed Arnie with a blaster, but it wants a mono. But that's fair enough, because that's on her, that's part of their thing, that Predator's probably really impressed with how she is, and probably, in other terms, really wouldn't really want to kill her, because it's a young blood, would kind of, don't get me wrong, would want to kill her and keep her skull, don't get me wrong, which is also useful. Like, she could team up, if they kill a queen alien, they get Elder, and that's, like, unreal, and I freaking hurt that Predator. Anyway, just a bit of missed potential in my bit there, but that's me nitpicking away a different bit. What happens is, it cuts its own arm off, and anyway, she uses its own helmet against it at the end, and it fires the arrows, and she, from the laser, and lasers on the Predator. And my thinking is just, it would know that's its helmet. It's trained with that. It's its main thing. It's constantly tweaking it and stuff. That's a bullshit ending in my opinion. Pardon my French there, but it's a bullshit ending. I wasn't buying it cutting its own arm off. The second one, at least, he cut its arm off. Fair play. If she pushed the shield out the way or something and it cut its arm off, fair play. But it swipes at her and cuts it. I just didn't find that very believable from this advanced species. Not even just advanced, just as clever. It's not dumb. It's not just a swipey monster. It's a very petite. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a bit more primal than what we're used to seeing, and it's a bit more wilder. It's younger, so I believe it in a way. But I don't believe the arrow bit at the end. That bit I didn't believe with. Like the first one with Arnie, when it sees the first trap and it jumps in the second one. That's clever. And I can buy that, but this is like just going for and getting that trap on it straight away. You buy it, but you're kind of a bit disappointed. You're a bit like, oh, this kind of, But then you don't want her to die, so you're quite glad. Anyway, she returns to try with the Predator's head. It's amazing. And anyway, back to it now. No spoiler. This is a little bit of lore, which what the ending leaves, and she gets given a gun off one of the people who sell the fur. These are fur traders, sort of, yes. Them getting killed by the Predator was so satisfying. Anyway, she gets given a gun because she heals this guy's leg. He doesn't last long, waste potential again, but we can nitpick that. Anyway, that gun is linked into a story that they wanted to do anyway, which I think they're going to do. So instead of going forward with the movies, they're going further back. And the next Predator movie in line, I really hope, and a lot of fans want them to do this, even though we all know how it is and how it ends, is when they're on a pirate ship, and there's a pirate, in other words, and his crew turns on him, and there's obviously a Predator comes down and it's doing its thing, it's hunting, and his crew turns on him and leaves him for dead. And it's just him, and the Predator's captured, I think, or something, on the boat with him. Anyway, they decide to team up. So this isn't like the Predator, you have to survive against the Predator. This shows how loyal and how, what's the word, honourable they are. Like, they won't kill an injured person. Not really. Like if you're crawling, you're dropped your guns, your weapons are gone. If you've tried to fight it, yeah, you're screwed, right? Weapon or no weapon, you try to fight it, yeah, you're a challenge. You know, you're a threat. But as soon as you're not a threat, like, their rule is, you know, this movie, this was a young blood in the other movie. This one is like older. And they're very honourable. If you're injured and you're out of the game, it's just like, right, I'll wait for you to heal yourself and we'll fight again. You know, that type of thing. Anyway, and this pirate's injured. His crew shot him in the back. Literally. And he's crawling, and obviously the Predator's like, right, I'm going to help you. You need help. I'm going to wipe these guys out. You know, they're obviously skilled. They've got weapons. There's going to be a fight, but me and you are going to take them out, and they both take out this crew. And at the end of it, the guy, instead of a Predator giving him a weapon, like in the movies we see, where the survivor gets a weapon, apart from the first one, really. Although I do think he's took a little trinket with him. I think he's took a bit of that armour. He actually gives the Predator a weapon, which some may argue starts off this whole trade in a way. Gives them that gun that she has with the 1972 one. That obviously the second Predator movie, he gets the cop. And like I say, it's just some fantastic lore they could do with this Predator. There's so much they could do. A lot of people want Dutch to be back. I agree. You know, Arnie now is back in, you know, he's never been out of the acting industry and action industry. I could buy him, but he doesn't even have to fight them, really. He could just be, like, he could just meet, it'd just be cool just to see them, like, sort of understand a bit more about their lore. Brought on the big screen would be really good, and this movie is the closest one we've got to it. It's not just, oh, it's a Predator, it's here to hunt and kill, you know. It's just going to pick you off and kill you. It shows a bit more of a lore to this Predator. For instance, like, it won't kill stuff that won't attack it. It'll look for predators to kill. It won't look for anything that's not a threat. So it won't kill a rabbit, for instance. Ants are crawling over it. It doesn't squish them. Just let them do what they do. But anything like, let's say if they bit it, it'd obviously bite dust. Literally. It's stuff like that I want from a Predator movie, and it seems like they're going in the right direction, and a lot of people and a lot of fans feel the same way. And I've just got to say, the original one is unreal. So bad, but so good. But yeah, so like I say, props Hulu again, another fantastic movie. Keep coming. And like I say, I think the next thing they're going to do, what I think would be great as a series, but I don't think they'll do that. But if they did a series with these directors, of course, not the ones who did the Halo series, Predator probably takes mask off straight away and then takes face off and it'd be human. And an intriguing fact about this movie, speaking of, who played the Predator was a basketball player again. Because it's proper practical effects. It's not CGI like the last one. It's proper full-on practical. And it's a blooming basketball player again. I mean, they're tall enough to play him. And this guy's quite built as well, in all fairness. But it didn't have to be ripped. It would just have to be tall and slim. Because it was Youngblood. So like I say, fantastic movie. Check it out. Hopefully they do this Pirate 101, because that'll be unreal. I'd love to sit through that, even if it's just a little 85-minute movie or something. I'd love it. And I vote for a standalone movie with just a doggo, because the doggo was so good. Oh, he's bringing the sticks at the beginning. So she could mark the trails, and he was bringing her, like, gifts. He brought her food, even though it's just a dead possum. He hit her when she was, at the water drinking, and, she could cook it up and eat it. And, he was cute as well. He had, his ears were before going about this dog, in other words, the dog was the star of the movie, and the dog was the real survivor. Yeah. So, that's me, Honest Chewy out, and hopefully they'll do more movies about this, the outshoot. It'd be really good to dive in. I'm hoping I'm saying that name correctly. But it'd just be great to delve into the lore, because they're unreal. Like, they're not just monsters, they, like, have honour and a lot of respect to, the kills. They won't do a dishonourable death or dishonourable kill, unless, obviously, then become, what's the other word, bad bloods or something? I forgot what it is. But even them are sort of, borderline, unless they're cloned predators, then you're screwed. yeah, that's a whole different video. Right, on that note, I'm out. Bye! Because I'm melting and it's boiling. My fan's going on now, actually. It's gone. Till the next one. Ciao. Ciao.